A week ago, Victor was playing in the garden and he hurt himself. The dressing on his wound comes off today.
Seems to be healing.
Hey buddy, don't worry. The wound will heal soon. What you see there is the tissue growing back over the wound, behind the scab. You will be as good as new in no time. Welcome to the lesson on structure and function of cells.
At the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the role of cells as basic units of tissues and organs. Identify the parts of a plant cell and their functions. Differentiate between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. And compare plant and animal cells.
So that's tissue? I do remember you telling me earlier that groups of cells form tissues.
Yes. In fact, the black layer or the scab that you see on the wound is a result of the aggregation of dead red blood cells, RBCs.
We talked about how cells form the basic unit of all organisms.
As you may know, cells form tissues and tissues form organs. Now tell me about a few organs in the human body.
Let me see. Nose, eyes, and lungs?
Right. Now, nose and lungs form a part of an organ system, the respiratory system. Can you think of any other organ systems?
Well, there are the nervous system and the digestive system, right?
Right. There are many such organ systems in the body. All these organ systems work together to run a complex organism, like you.
Amazing architecture. But what about plants? What organs do they have?
Leaves, roots, and stems are organs of plants. Like animal tissues, these are also made of tiny units of cells.
What about the cells themselves though? What exactly is their function? And how do they perform their tasks?
Well, each component of a cell has a specific function associated with it. Let's look at the structure of a cell first. The basic components of a cell are cytoplasm, cell membrane, and nucleus. Actually, I can show you these parts using a microscope. Let's take a sample for viewing. Here's an onion bulb. To view the onion cell, you need to remove a thin peel from the onion bulb. Spread the peel on the glass slide and put a drop of water on it. Water will prevent the peel from drying. Then, add a drop of methylene blue solution to the peel. Place a cover slip on it. Tap the cover slip gently to prevent the formation of air bubbles in the slide. Now, the slide is ready. Now, observe the slide through the microscope and tell me what you see.
I see a big empty space in the center of the cell.
That's the vacuole. A vacuole gives a rigid shape to the cell. It also stores waste and food materials in it.
So, is the shape of the cell rigid due to the vacuole?
Not entirely. The cell membrane also helps provide shape to the cell. The shape of a cell is rigid due to the presence of the cell wall. The cell membrane, also called the plasma membrane, separates one cell from another. separates the cell from the surrounding medium and allows the movement of minerals and other substances in and out of the cell.
I see a thick covering enclosing the cell. What's that?
The outer thick layer is a cell wall made of cellulose. Plants cannot move from one place to another. Therefore, plant cells require cell walls to protect the cell from climatic changes like a rise or fall in temperature, high wind speeds, and atmospheric moisture. Between the nucleus and the cell membrane, we find a jelly-like fluid called the cytoplasm. It contains a number of organelles. Do you remember how plants prepare their food?
Sure, through photosynthesis. We learned that at school.
See those colored structures present in the plant cell? Those are plastids. Chloroplast is a type of plastid involved in photosynthesis in plants.
Oh, so this is what gives the leaves the green color?
Correct. The other organelles that you see are mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, ribosome, and endoplasmic reticulum. We won't get into the details of these right now. First, let's focus on the basic components of a cell.
What about the dark spherical structure in the cell?
The dark spherical structure is the nucleus. It controls the activities of the cell. It contains the nucleolus. You can view the nucleolus if you have a microscope with higher magnification. It is a smaller spherical body. The nucleus also contains thread-like structures called the chromosomes. Chromosomes are called the vehicles of heredity because they carry genes and help in the inheritance or transfer of characters from the parents to the offspring. Let me explain. Are your eyes the same color as that of your dad's?
Yes, in fact, Dad and Granddad both have eyes of the same color.
The color of the eyes is a character that is transferred from your granddad to dad and from your dad to you. Similarly, plants also transfer their character to their offspring through genes. Nucleus, in addition to its role in inheritance, acts as the control center of the activities of the cell.
Wow, so much through one small nucleus.
Yes, in fact, some people call nucleus the brain of the cell. Another term that you'll often hear in the context of cells is protoplasm. Protoplasm refers to the entire content of a living cell, including the cytoplasm and the nucleus.
So, is the structure and the function of the nucleus same in the cells of all organisms?
Well, how the nucleus is organized depends on the type of organism.
What types of organisms are there?
An organism can be a prokaryote or a eukaryote.
Eukaryote and prokaryote?
Yes, cells that have a well-organized nucleus with a nuclear membrane are called eukaryotic cells. Organisms that have such cells are called eukaryotes. On the other hand, consider unicellular organisms like bacteria and blue-green algae. The cells of these organisms contain nuclear material, but no nuclear membrane. Such cells are called prokaryotic cells. Organisms that have prokaryotic cells are called prokaryotes.
So, all organisms other than bacteria and blue-green algae are eukaryotes.
That's correct. So, the structure of the nucleus in a cell can vary across organisms.
So far, we've only been looking at plant cells. What about animal cells? like cells of human beings?
To see an animal cell, we need the specimen of an animal cell. Here, gently scrape the inside of your cheek using a toothpick. Make sure not to hurt yourself, Victor.
Okay, done. Here is the toothpick.
Let's place the scraping on a slide and add a drop of water to it. Now, add a drop of methylene blue and place a cover slip over it. Make sure no air bubbles form during this process. There, we are done. Now, place it on the stage and observe it through the microscope.
This seems to be different from the plant cell.
That's natural. But can you identify the common things between the onion cell and the cheek cell?
Well, there are many organelles common in both. Like the onion cells, I am able to see the nucleus, mitochondria, cell membrane, Golgi bodies, and ribosome in my cheek cells as well.
Good. Now, is there anything you saw in the onion cells that is absent in the cheek cells?
Where is the big empty vacuole that I saw in the plant cell?
Vacuoles are either absent in animal cell or present as small structures. How about a recap on the various organelles present in plant cells and animal cells?
Sure, Cello.
Here is a chart of plant and animal cells. Let us compare the organelles of both the cells.
There is a nucleus in both the cells.
Hold on, Victor. Let me draw a table to compare plant and animal cells.
Sure.
Okay, now let's begin with the nucleus.
It is present in both plant and animal cells. What about the nuclear membrane?
Nuclear membrane is also present in both plant as well as animal cells. What about the vacuole?
It seems to be present in both plant and animal cells. However, it looks much smaller in animal cells. Now, what about the cell membrane?
It is also present in both the cells.
The plant cell has an additional covering, right?
Yes, you're talking about the cell wall. Animal cells don't have cell walls.
Then, cytoplasm is present in both plants and animals, right?
Right, and the chart is complete.
Wait, we missed plastids, Cello.
Yeah, plastids are present in both plant and animal cells.
Hey, that's incorrect. I don't see any plastids in animal cells.
Very good, Victor. I was just checking to see if you remember. You are on the right track. You've become an expert on cell structure and functions.
Congratulations! You have completed the lesson on cell structure and functions. In this lesson, you have learned to explain the role of cells as basic units of tissues and organs, identify the parts of a plant cell and its functions, differentiate between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, and compare plant and animal cells.